I was listening to some information about Friedrich Engels and his manuscript. I think he was the philosopher, the writer. Marx was the sidekick. I was listening to Thomas Sowell, and according to his research, he said one of the first tenets of the manifesto was the dismantling of family unit. But they had to scratch that from the manifesto because they thought Marx thought it was not going to fly. So, but that was right in the beginning of the manifesto, and of course, what followed was dismantling of agriculture, dismantling of industry, and transforming everything: family, industry, agriculture, transforming it into units of production. A soulless, mechanistic, way of doing things. And you can see the way they still behave today around the industry and agriculture. Everything is mechanized. Everything is soulless, and the way they raise, cattle, and it's just unethical. The products they use to extract food from the soil destroys the soil, destroys nature, destroys everything that comes in contact with it, and of course destroys the consumers. But they don't care; they just care about the results. I've noticed that bureaucrats like the manifesto. Yeah, bureaucrats, people who do desk work. They do computer work, desk work. They don't, work with their hands, but their backs. They don't work with their muscles. They don't, you know, no, they're the types that work behind an office. And I noticed that most, if not all of them, they actually enjoy very much the manifesto. I understand so far that this book, this manuscript, is a grimoire. Yes, it's a grimoire. It was written by a magician. I mean, Friedrich Engels was a magician, no doubt. And people just are mesmerized by it, especially bureaucrats and technocrats. And of course they are, because the whole model, that it's defending is the survival of bureaucracy. It's not about anything else. It's not about the working class. No, it's about the middle class. I don't know. People talk a lot about demographics. They talk about the state of industry, the state of agriculture, and they scratch their heads. What's going on? What's going on is that Marxism has been, triumph since the war. I believe actually Marxism was the architects of the war, the first and the second. They wanted to change things, absolutely, in a Marxist way, in a mechanistic way. They wanted to transform the Industrial Revolution, in which it was the bureaucrats that ruled the world, so to speak. So they've been, overlords since the 40s, these technocrats, and they're all Marxists. They're all Marxists. And problems with demographics, industry, and agriculture is the result of these policies, of this way of thinking, this mechanistic, soulless way of doing things. How do you stop it? Well, you stop endorsing it, you stop enabling it. That's how you stop it, which seems to me it's an impossible thing because most people are very comfortable in their captivity. They will not move a finger to try to change things. I mean, now bureaucracy, desktocracy is now couchtocracy. It's couchocracy. They sit in the couch and they work from home. You know, that's crazy. Anyway, it's extremely unhealthy. Staying at home in a pajama all day. Extremely unhealthy. Anyway, not getting out, getting fresh air. People who are, raised in apartments, they end up developing all sorts of digestive problems and allergies because simply they are not used to the world. They're not used to the environment, to the winds, to the pollen. Right now, we are eating tons and tons of pollen. I have no problem with it. I have to clean my glasses because they are saturated pollen from the trees. I have no problem with it, but some people, they need help. They need help because simply the body can't handle it. So when the time, changes from thunder to sunlight to rain to, they think the sky is falling and has to be something wrong with the world. No, it's not. In your conditioning, you missed most of the world. Now, when you are exposed to it, you think it's something bad. The gods of the climate are attacking you. This idea of defense and attack, it's also a Marxist idea. It's a binary mechanical way of seeing the world. How do you escape this binary? Well, little by little, you start disabling it. Instead of enabling it, you disable it little by little. A lot of people have waken up and they are leaving the cities because the city is, an industrial scale, farming of humans. Uh, they realized if they could invest, their earned money away from the city in a forest, in an abandoned, farm, and just try to be as most self-sufficient possible. That's the answer. Eventually, that's the answer, little by little. Because these Marxists, they have everybody trapped. They control the education system. They control, society. They control everything. Whenever they want to rock the cage, I don't know, they pull a fast one. Like in this past 5 years, they pull the fast one. What the? I heard something moving behind me. It's probably some lizard or something. Okay, that was a bit scary. Ugh. Um, because I know my sheep just passed in the other direction. I heard something moving behind me. I was like, what? It's not my sheep, so what it is. Um, so yeah, they control the education, they control everything, and education is mind control. They're just creating units of production. And when mommy and daddy are units of production, they calculate their money and they end up, being able to have a child, maybe two. And then they scratch their heads and think, why are people mentally ill nowadays? Well, because they were separated too young from their parents. They've been raised by the state or raised by strangers. When they grow up, they are mentally ill, emotionally unstable. They don't want family themselves. This is the result of Marxism. What was Marxism? Dismantling the family, they hated agriculture. They hated farmers, the honesty of farmers. Yeah. Farmers, for the most part, are honest people. People who work in mines, people who work in industry, in factories, they are honest people. Yeah. You want to find the opposite? The intellectuals, the PhDs, the professors, the experts, the bureaucrats, those are, I mean, it was proven in this past 5 years that, oh my gosh, trust the experts. What the? Anyway, how do you do it? You start disabling little by little. You start, you know, if you start little, putting in a small vase a tomato plant or a cucumber. You start little. You will see it's very easy. Neighbor of mine never worked in the land ever in their life. So one day at the age of 50 something, they decide to buy a piece of, land, and they started farming, and they were surprised how easy it is and how healthy it is and how good the food is, comparing it to the supermarket. It's insane, the difference. It's the best therapy ever. You don't need to go to the gym or to talk to a so-called professional for therapy. No, all you have to do is do some agriculture, pay attention to the seasons, get in rhythm with the natural order of things, and that's the best therapy ever. Me, I find my peace here in this piece of forest, in this place. It's a bit windy, but I was thinking about making it, a shack here, a small, house. We'll see. Anyway, raw milk. Oh man, raw milk. You have no idea the benefits of raw milk. From children to adulthood, raw milk is one of those superfoods. Did you know that, in the wars, they used to do blood transfusions with raw milk? Raw milk is blood without the red blood cells, you know? It's white blood cells, basically, with a lot of fat, i.e., cholesterol. And they destroy it. These Marxists, they found a way to destroy milk. You see, they couldn't. They hate farmers, right? So they hated the idea of going door to door and talk to them and see if the conditions was right. If they were raising the cattle properly, and if the milk was good. Good quality. They hated that, so they decided to simply burn the milk, gather all the milk, like randomly from everybody, gather it, and then boil it in a industrial scale. It's not boiling it in your oven. No, the temperatures that the milk goes to be pasteurized is beyond boiling point. It has to be an industrial, scale, like in a furnace, to attain those temperatures. It kills everything in the milk, everything bad and everything good. What you're left with is this liquid that doesn't do anything. The body actually, when it takes it, it just discards it. It kind of fools you. It tastes like milk, but it's not milk. Oh man, I had some raw milk from my sheep the other day because they happen to be, pregnant once a year or something, and sometimes twice, if you're lucky. I had a cup of raw milk, and it hardly touched my tongue. It went down so quick. I was like, it's over. It had no taste at all. It was so, I don't know. It just went down like in an instant, and I was like, oh man, I could drink 5 liters of this if I had. If I had it, I would drink 5 liters of it. It was so delicious. But the Marxists destroyed the milk Marxists because of their practices, man. They hated farming, they hated industry, they hated honest people. So they created this bureaucratic hell to bamboozle, to muscle, to punch down, any honest person. Anyway, I think I'm gonna shut up now. Have a nice day.